Let me tell you something ugly right out of the gate. When I finally came out, I thought the big miracle was going to be freedom. I thought the heavens were going to open, angels were going to clap, and some handsome silver fox was going to appear in my driveway holding coffee, the front of his robe wide open, and emotional maturity. That is not what happened. What happened was this. I looked at my life, really looked at it, and realized I had spent most of it reading from a script some dead committee had written for me. Society wrote a few pages, religion wrote a few, fear wrote a whole damn section. Shame? Shame had a pen in both hands. And then one day, after all the noise, all the pain, all the dust from coming out, settled down just enough for me to hear myself think, I saw something in my mind so clear, it scared me. So clear that I could feel it in my hands. A book. My book. My whole life in one book. And when I got to the last chapter, it was blank. What? Not empty because I had failed. No, empty because it was finally the chapter. My last chapter. And brother, let me tell you, that kind of freedom will make your knees shake. I used to think the saddest thing about coming out late was the years I lost. And yeah, that hurts. I'm not going to sit here and decorate that pain with pretty little words and call it wisdom. It hurts. It hurts like hell. But that ain't the deepest wound. The deepest wound is realizing that after all those years of being told who to be, what to want, how to stand, how to talk, how to love, how to sin, how to repent, how to shut up and be useful, you finally get your life back. And now you gotta decide what to do with it. Nobody tells you that part. They tell you, be yourself. Like that solves anything. Be yourself? Man, I spent half my life being everybody else. You don't just wake up at 60-something, stretch your back and say, well, look at that. I found myself between the toothpaste and the ibuprofen. No, it doesn't work like that. You come out late, and for a little while, you feel like a man who just got out of prison and walks straight into Times Square. Lights everywhere, noise everywhere, people selling everything, bodies everywhere. Temptation everywhere. You want to laugh, cry, throw up, kiss somebody, and run home all at the same time. That's the part people don't say out loud. Freedom can feel like a damn attack. So let me go back to that book. I see it in my mind like an old hardback, heavy, a little beat up, corners worn down, spine cracked. Not pretty, but real. A book that had been carried through storms. I pick it up and I open it. First chapter. A little boy trying to be good, trying to fit, trying not to get caught feeling the wrong thing, looking too long, moving too soft, noticing too much. Next chapter. A young man bargaining with God like God was some kind of landlord. I'll do this if you take this away. I'll be good if you make me normal. I'll marry right, talk right, stand right, suffer quietly. Just please don't let me be this. Then more pages. Work, marriage, responsibility. Smiling when I felt nothing. Nodding when I wanted to scream. Learning how to perform decency so well that even I started buying tickets to my own show. That's what really gets me. I wasn't just lying to other people. I got so good at it, I almost made a believer out of myself. That takes talent, by the way. A sad kind of talent. A cursed talent. Some of us should have gotten Oscars. Some of us should have at least gotten a pension for emotional labor. And I turn page after page, and there it all is. My life. Not fake exactly. That's the hard part. Not fake. Just incomplete. Like a house with beautiful walls and no windows. Like a birthday cake with no sugar in it. Like a church sermon about joy delivered by a man who hasn't smiled in 20 years. And then I get to the end, the last chapter. Blank. Just 4 blank pages. 4. What is that? That's what hit me first. Not the beauty of it, not the hope of it. The insult of it. 4 pages? That's all I get after all that mess? After decades of swallowing myself whole, after burying desire, swallowing loneliness, dressing up for a life that never fit right in the shoulders. 4 pages? Really? I remember thinking, that is some cheap nonsense right there. That is a budget ending. That is a clearance rack miracle. That is the kind of thing life gives you when it wants to say, "Best of luck, old man. Try not to trip on the way out." But then I looked closer, and I saw something strange. The chapter had 4 blank pages, yes, but the back of the book had these little slots in it. Like I could add pages, as many as needed, as many as I had courage for, as many as love could hold, as many as truth could stand. And that changed everything. Because now the question wasn't, how many pages do I have left? The question was, what kind of fool am I going to be with the pages I do have? That's a different question, a more dangerous question. Because now I can't hide behind time. I can't sit there being dramatic and saying, well, my life is almost over, like some exhausted movie star on a velvet couch. No. Maybe I got 4 pages. Maybe I got 40 more. Maybe I add pages one at a time because I finally learn how to live without lying. Maybe 1 honest year is worth 10 fake ones. That book was telling me something. It was telling me my life was no longer on autopilot. Nobody else was writing now. And that sounds beautiful until you realize what it actually means. It means if I fill those pages with junk, that's on me. If I fill them with fear, that's on me. If I waste them chasing attention because I confuse being wanted with being loved, that's on me. If I run so hard into sex, into chaos, into the first pair of arms that makes me feel visible, just because I'm starving, that's on me too. And yes, let's be adults and say the word. Sex. That gay world out there, it can be thrilling, it can be funny, it can be exciting. It can also eat a wounded man alive. Nobody likes when I say that, but it's true. You come out late, and suddenly there's a whole carnival waiting. Bodies, apps, messages at midnight from men named things that sound like cologne brands or home appliances. Everybody looking for connection, with a shirtless photo and the emotional depth of a spoon. And listen, I'm not judging. I am absolutely not judging. A starving man should not be surprised that he smells food from 3 counties away. But hunger will make you stupid. And that's the danger. A man comes out late after living half his life half dead, and now he wants everything. He wants touch. He wants to caress another man. He wants to kiss a man. He wants to feel that man's love deep and hard. He wants laughter. He wants somebody to look at him like he isn't expired milk. He wants to be desired. He wants to be seen. He wants to take all that buried life inside him and set it on fire just to watch it glow. I get that. I really do. Because part of me wanted to grab that pen and write like a lunatic. Page 1, hot stranger. Page 2, bad decisions. Page 3, another hot stranger, but this time with an STD. Page 4, therapy. That was the temptation, to write the last chapter like a man trying to rob time at gunpoint. To act like if I moved fast enough, slept with enough men, laughed loud enough, stayed out late enough, then maybe I could catch the years that got away from me. But let me tell you something that took me a while to understand. You cannot outrun grief with glitter. You cannot heal loneliness by renting bodies for the night. You cannot call it freedom if you are still being dragged around by hunger. And you sure as hell cannot build love on top of panic. That book in my hand was not inviting me to lose my mind. It was inviting me to become an author. That's different. An author does not just spill ink everywhere and call it art. An author chooses, cuts, thinks, feels the weight of every word. And that's when the whole thing got serious for me, because I realized I was standing between two endings. One ending was fast, loud, wild. A man drunk on delayed adolescence. A man trying to make up for lost time by burning through what little peace he had left. A man saying yes to everything because he had said no to himself for too long. A man enjoying sex like it was the last Coke in the dessert. That path had heat. That path had excitement. That path had stories, sure. Some funny, some dirty, some smelly, some sad enough to make a bartender pray for me. And the other ending? Slower, harder, not as flashy, but maybe deeper.
The kind where I don't just ask, who wants me? I ask, who can walk with me without making me smaller? The kind where I don't just chase chemistry. I ask whether there is kindness, whether there is steadiness, whether there is somebody who can sit in the dark with me and not get scared when I tell the truth. That's a whole different question. See, when you've been deprived of love for so long, you can confuse electricity with warmth. You can confuse obsession with devotion. You can confuse finally being touched with finally being known. Those are not the same thing, not even close. And so I sat there, looking at those blank pages, and I started asking myself some ugly questions. Do I want a man? Or do I want proof that I am still wanted? Do I want love? Or do I just want relief from the shame I carried for half a century? Do I want a partner? Or do I want an audience? Because, brother, those are not the same thing. A partner walks with you. An audience can be found at a local bathhouse. And if you don't ask yourself those questions, life will answer them for you in the worst possible ways. Now let me say something with a little sarcasm, because Lord knows sometimes sarcasm is the only spoonful of sugar that helps the truth go down. At this age, the dating world is a ridiculous place. Everybody says they want honesty, then flinches when it arrives. Everybody says they want depth, then sends you a selfie from the gym mirror with the emotional range of a toaster. Everybody says they are tired of games while actively majoring in hide and seek. And don't get me started on the phrase, "I'm not looking for anything serious." Boy, at our age, what exactly are you looking for, sir? A trampoline park? A loyalty program? A haunted Airbnb with abs? Come on. But the joke hides something real. A lot of us came out late carrying unfinished business. Old grief, old shame, old cravings, old anger. And if you don't know that, if you don't respect that, you will walk into the gay world like a tourist with your wallet hanging out of your pocket. You will mistake attention for affection. You will call chaos passion. You will let men audition for the role of soulmate when they can't even return a phone call. You will break your own heart and then act surprised, like the warning labels were in invisible ink. That book was not just giving me freedom, it was handing me responsibility. And I hated that. I wanted freedom without responsibility. Who doesn't? I wanted healing without discipline, pleasure without consequences, romance without discernment. I wanted to walk out of the prison and straight into a sunset. Instead, life handed me a blank chapter and said, "All right then, show me what you can do when nobody is controlling you." Well, damn, that's a harder test. Because now I can't blame the church.
I can't blame family. I can't blame culture. I can't blame the wife. I can't blame the closet. Those things shaped me, yes. They wounded me, yes. But if I take the pen now and still choose foolishness over truth, then I have to own that. And there is something both terrifying and beautiful in that. I am not just free now. I am accountable. That changed how I saw love. Love stopped being a rescue boat. It stopped being revenge against my past. It stopped being a prize for surviving. It stopped being proof that I still had it. Love became a question. Can I write a life that has room for another soul in it? Not just another naked body, not just another distraction, not just another witness to my pain. Another soul. Can I become honest enough to be loved without performing? Can I sit across from another man and not sell him a costume? Can I let him see the wrinkles, the fear, the regret, the hunger, the tenderness, the ridiculous hope that still lives in me like a dog that refuses to die? Can I be known without rehearsing? That is harder than coming out. In some ways, much harder. Because coming out is one truth. Love is 1,000 little truths. Daily truths, embarrassing truths, domestic truths, truths with bad breath and bills and grief and moods and silence and hospital waiting rooms and funerals and coffee cups and ordinary Tuesday afternoons. Anybody can fantasize about love. Writing it is another matter. That's why this last chapter matters so much to me. It ain't just a metaphor. It's a warning. You don't get handed authorship late in life so you can scribble like a drunk fool and call it liberation. You get handed authorship so you can finally tell the truth in complete sentences. And maybe that truth is wild for a while. Maybe you do explore. Maybe you do make some mistakes. Maybe you do kiss the wrong man and laugh about it later. Maybe you do spend a season acting like a teenager with back pain. Fine. I'm not against being alive. I'm not campaigning for sainthood. But somewhere in the middle of all that living, there has to be a moment when you stop and ask, what am I building here? Because if the last chapter is mine, I don't want it to read like a comic book drawn in panic. I don't want it full of noise and speed and pretty nonsense. I don't want my final pages to look like a fire sale in a department store of unresolved issues. No, if I'm honest, what I want is harder and sweeter than that. I want my last chapter to feel earned. I want the love in it, if it comes, to be the kind that can survive daylight. The kind that doesn't need costumes. The kind that can sit still. The kind that can hold history without turning it into a weapon. The kind that says, bring me your truth, not your performance. I want to write a chapter where desire is not shameful, but not stupid either. Where pleasure is not forbidden, but not worshipped. Where humor still has a seat at the table because, dear God, if you cannot laugh at yourself after 60, what have you been doing? Where tenderness is not weak. Where loneliness is not a death sentence. Where I stop apologizing for taking up emotional space. And yes, I want to love a man hand in hand if life is kind enough to allow it. Not because I need a fairy tale. I am too old for fairy tales and too smart for polished nonsense. I want something real. Something that can look me in the eye and not blink when I say, this is who I am. This is what it cost. This is what I'm still learning. That, to me, would be a beautiful page. Maybe several. And maybe that's the lesson in the whole thing. The miracle isn't that the last chapter is blank. The miracle is that I finally know it should not be rushed. For years I rushed myself into roles, rushed myself into silence, rushed myself into duty, rushed myself past my own heart. Why would I do that again now, just because I'm scared of time? No, I may not have written the beginning honestly. I may not have been the author I wanted to be in the middle. But these last pages? These pages will know my real voice. That matters to me. Because freedom is not sleeping with whoever answers first. Freedom is not rebellion for the sake of rebellion. Freedom is not making a mess simply because no one can stop you. Freedom is having the pen and knowing every word counts. So here's what I would tell any man standing where I stand, book in hand, staring at those blank pages like they're both a promise and a threat. Don't panic. Don't rush. Don't write your last chapter like a starving man at an all-you-can-eat buffet and then wonder why your soul feels sick. Sit down. Breathe. Tell the truth. Laugh when you can. Cry when you must. Be careful what you call love. Be careful what you call freedom. And for the love of God, do not hand your pen to the first man who says you're handsome. Your life is not over. Your story is not done. And the best part may not be that you have pages left. The best part may be that for the first time, the words can actually belong to you. So write them well. Write them dirty if they need to be dirty. Write them tender if they need to be tender. Write them wild if they need to be wild. Write them slow if slow is what truth requires. But write them like a man who finally understands the weight of his own name. Because the last chapter of your life should not be an accident.